Browns 30-16 losers to the Bengals, Mary Kay. And, of course, what everyone is talking about after the game is the hit that Jabril Peppers delivered. He was called for unnecessary roughness, defenseless receiver. It appears that he led with his helmet. He made contact with the wide receiver's helmet. And that was really the talk of the locker room and the talk on Twitter.
Well, you know what? Hugh Jackson came out and defended Jabril, said he did everything right on that. He believes that it was a bad call and that the officials got it wrong. I'm sure that the Browns will send that into the NFL. They'll get more of an explanation, not that we'll ever hear about it, but they were very, very upset about the call on the sidelines after the game. And like I said, Hugh Jackson defended him for that. Jabril was the one that basically said, I have to come in lower. I can't give the refs any reason to call me on that. And he took the blame for it.
Yeah, Jabril, of all the people we talked to, he was probably the one who was most willing to just kind of let the call be. But, look, he's right. Whatever you think of the call, he gave the referees an opportunity to throw that flag because, we were just watching the replays of it over and over and over again. And that helmet does come in, and it does hit the receiver in the helmet.
It does. And, if you read the rule, that's where the nuance of the rule comes in, is that, and he was making the point that that the initial contact wasn't necessarily anywhere near the helmet, but in the action of the play, it ends up being that. But the rule reads that it doesn't matter if the initial contact wasn't helmet to helmet. If you're hitting a guy and your helmet knocks into his helmet, they're going to call that.
And, of course, the receiver had his arm out. He was still trying to bring the ball in. There's so much to get into in that rule. The other thing, too, is that's sort of how you want your safety to play. There's such a fine line there. And a lot of guys in the locker room said, even with the penalty, that's how we need our safety to play. We need him to be physical, and we need him to be a force like that.
Yeah, you know what? Hugh Jackson said he wouldn't tell Jabril to do anything different. In fact, he did tell him just keep doing what you're doing. That's how we want you to play. That's why we brought you here. So they're going to have to go back and revisit this a little bit, watch the film, make sure that everybody's on the same page with this because it's going to come up again. And Jabril is a heavy hitter. He's a hard hitter. He's making that transition from college to the pros, and he is going to have to know what they're going to call and what they're not.
Now, the game itself, DeShone Kizer had a pretty good game, but he did have to leave to go into the concussion protocol. He came back rather quickly, but really I thought he played one of his better games today. There were still some issues. There were still some flaws, but a Corey Coleman drop pass in the end zone was absolutely killer for Kizer.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, I thought he showed a lot of toughness again. He made some big plays, and he still is challenged at the receiver position, but he's starting to make some plays with his guys. And like you said, big drop by Corey in the end zone. You've got to make those plays, especially when you are the number 15 overall pick last year. Help is on the way tomorrow with Josh Gordon. He'll be activated, so hopefully DeShone will have more guys to throw the ball to. But for the most part, he showed toughness. He got hit. He came back from the concussion again, and I think he scored more points with this organization.
And defensively, the Browns gave up so many rushing yards. This was Cincinnati's best rushing performance by far this year. And the turnovers, they still are struggling to force turnovers. Joe Schobert dropped one. Brian Body Calhoun dropped a couple. They just were unable to take advantage of Cincinnati's mistakes.
Yeah, they need to come up with those for sure. But on the other side of the ball, they were turnover-free this time. And that was vitally important because they turned the ball over 5 times last week. Now, if they can start to maybe eliminate a few of the penalties, remain a little bit turnover-free, get Josh Gordon back, and if DeShone Kizer continues to progress, then they might win a game or two.
Well, they're running out of games. They've got 5 left. Of course, we are heading to L.A. next week. We'll have full coverage of the Jabril Peppers hit, everything that happened today here in Cincinnati at cleveland.com/Browns.